What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at another game in which I complete every single quest in Storybook Brawl. I did this about 2 months ago, and then I also did this about 12 hours ago, the previous video on my channel. I just happened to get 2 games in the course of about 1 or 2 hours where I completed every quest, so I figured I would give them both to you on the same day here. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at a Sir Galahad game, which is a champion or a hero that I'm not super comfortable with. I haven't played it too much since it got nerfed, but the one thing I kind of do remember is dwarves being pretty decent on Sir Galahad, and it kind of makes sense. You're going to wind up keeping dwarves in your board more than some other comps. Like, you're going to be playing Fanny up until potentially the last stages of the game, doubly especially, and then any stats that doubly gets are going to be doubled or tripled as the game goes on. So it does make some sense that Sir Galahad does do some work with dwarves, though dwarves are a lot weaker than they used to be, which is another thing that's going to make Sir Galahad a lot weaker. But we'll see what we can put together here in this game. And we're going to be able to pick up our first questing unit on this turn, the Cinderella, plus the pair of Tinies, which is pretty nice as well because, that's going to help us find some treasures and start to use our hero power and give our units a +1/+1 there. We are up against the Fates on this combat, and we are actually going to be able to do battle with them. Surprisingly, we are going to be able to get a tie, which is absolutely fantastic. And this turn, this shop, really silly to see the double questing unit here. 3 questing units in 2 turns. Unfortunately, though, we only have 5 gold. So we're going to have to sell something if we want to purchase 2 units. It's probably Cindy. Though Cindy's going to be the easiest character to complete a quest on, so I don't really want to get rid of that. I know I want to pick up Brave Princess. And then the question is, do I want to sell the Tiny probably to pick up a Princess White? And I'm going to say yes. So that's what I'm going to go for here. Pick up Princess White, and then I'm going to lock the Tripoli, because I think the Tripoli, it'll have +1/+1 from the Princess White, or +2, and then +4/+4 from the Fanny. So that'll be a 7/7 already next turn, and I think that will be something that allows us to be pretty strong. Plus, like I said, that is one of the better units getting to make use of Sir Galahad's hero power. So that's kind of where I'm at. Unfortunately, my opponent's unicorns are a little bit too big. I'm not going to be able to slay with my Brave Princess this turn, and we're going to walk away from this one taking 4 damage down to 30. Not the worst place in the world to be, but it does mean that we are towards the bottom of the lobby now, sitting with 30 health. I'll pick up the doubly, and then what I'm thinking is I want the 4 glory. I'm not sure that I'm going to win this combat, though we are playing against somebody even weaker than us, but I just want it for the Cinderella trigger. I just want to get that +1/+1 on all my stuff. I do think Vampire would probably be the stronger play this turn, but I want to try to make use of Sir Galahad's hero power as much as we can and start to pump up the board. So that is kind of going to be the idea here, and not sure if I've said this yet in this video. I know I said it a bunch in the earlier video today. I am at no point trying to force a strategy where I complete every treasure in one game. It's kind of just what happens. It kind of just works out, and it's because I am trying to pursue these treasures to make use of my hero power. Surprisingly, we are actually going to get the 4 glory off as well, so everything turns out pretty well for us, and we actually get the Vampire off of the 4 glory. So pretty silly stuff altogether there. We could have a +1/+1 on the Vampire if it had slayed or something, but we got the trigger on the Cindy. That's going to be more than good enough for us now. I'll pick up another Fanny, and then could go for a unicorn because that's reasonable with Sir Galahad, but I'm just going to take the Forbidden Fruit and then roll. And now we have an 11/11 doubly. That's pretty good. I'll see what else we can come up with. There is a pair of mummies. I think the play here is just sell the unicorn, pick up the chicken going into 4.0, and we'll see what we can do. But like I said, I don't really love dwarves right now. And one of the reasons Sir Galahad used to be good with dwarves, and this is something that I'm kind of realizing right now as I'm playing the game. This isn't me right now. I'm saying like at this point in the game. I'm realizing that part of the reason dwarves were such a good combination with Sir Galahad was Dwarven Forge, because it meant that you got to combine more dwarves and get that extra Galahad triggers. So now we don't have the Dwarven Forge in the game anymore. We actually have Sky Castle, which means that royals, and fittingly I think for flavor reasons and stuff, are actually what you want to be playing on Sir Galahad. By the way, we miss a really crucial hit there. If the pig had attacked into the doubly, we would have won that combat and got the prize pig gold and denied my opponent their spinning gold, as well as saving ourselves 6 health. So really, really unfortunate 50-50 to miss. But as you can see, we were still 2/3 likely to lose that combat. I am thinking about taking up a Nutcracker here, and we will grab our first treasure with the Cindy casting Lightning Bolt, and then we can grab Noble Steed. And this is pretty good for us, because now it means that if Brave Princess slays, we've got a decent chance to hit that Sky Castle. And from here out, that's definitely what I'm going to be looking to complete as far as this game is concerned. Let's try to make Sky Castle work. Let's grab some Arthurs. I think that that is probably a much better way to play Sir Galahad now than to try to make all of these dwarves things work, because dwarves are just not super strong right now, and you don't have the Dwarven Forge on top of it, and Princess White kind of sucks, so we'll still see if we can't complete that treasure potentially. We will try to do that, because we're going to try to complete every treasure. Fortunately, Brave Princess does not get to slay. We just beat my opponent too much, and also, unfortunately, that Zelhua has a Sky Castle. Now, treasures don't leave. There's no treasure pool. One person having a Sky Castle doesn't make it any less likely for us to get a Sky Castle. However, somebody gets a Sky Castle earlier than you, they're going to be able to start combining their royals, and that's just going to make the game even harder for you. So that part is a little bit unfortunate, but we will be able to get our first Prince Arthur here, if that's what we are looking for. We'll have to figure out one thing that we want to sell, if that is the case. Potentially want to hang on to Cinderella, because it is an upgraded royal. And I don't know, we also kind of want to play all of these dwarves and play all of these fannies and things too, at least until we upgrade those and can kind of mush them into a smaller subsection of the board. So don't think I'm going to play Arthur and Cindy just yet, but maybe we can get that slay, maybe we can get those Nutcracker triggers, and then we'll get Arthur in here and we'll figure out something to do with it. Remember too that one slay on Brave Princess gets us a tier 4 treasure, which is really big, because that means that we can get Sky Castle, and Nutcracker is actually going to give us a tier 5 treasure, which we can definitely figure out something to do with it. And it's also just going to increase the power of Hercules and Lancelot going into the later stages of the game, if we don't wind up replacing the questing treasure before that, which is definitely a possibility. We are going to grab the tier 5 treasure from Nutcracker, so that's pretty good, and we are going to grab the slay from the Brave Princess. So a tier 5 and a tier 4 treasure, that is worth 5 damage. We'll take that, drop down to 19, and here are our treasure choices. Ambrosia, kind of a weird one, to be totally honest, but I think I'm going to go for it. I'll figure out something to do with it. I do have some kind of ideas, and then off of our tier 4 treasure, we can grab a Coin of Sharon, which is also pretty good with royal comps. It's like another way to grab some scaling into there. It can kind of work with like Lancelot. It can also work with doubly. That's why you see me moving doubly to the front here, so that hopefully doubly can grab that Coin of Sharon. I am debating if I want to get this greedy in, and then I'm also thinking about the Ambrosia slot. Do I want to try to make some use of that? I do want to purchase the greedy because it's going to help us activate the Princess White. So that's kind of the idea there. And then I am going to sell this golden chicken and pick up Tweedledee. And now we only need to pick up 2 more dwarves, and we are kind of doing something with the dwarves here. I moved the Lucky to the back to make use of the Ambrosia slot, and then I put the Prince Arthur in. I feel like I want to make use of this Ambrosia because it's a treasure, but there's not really anything super great that we can do with it in this comp, especially when we're trying to upgrade a lot of our units. But putting Arthur in the Ambrosia slot is actually pretty cool because it means that Arthur will be able to upgrade itself. So that's a nice little hack to get some free scaling in. Speaking of scaling, the Coin of Sharon went onto Tweedle, so that is going to get some additional stats there. And then Romeo will be able to, or Arthur will be able to take out Romeo, but then Juliet takes out Arthur. So take 5 more damage down to 14. It's not the worst place in the world to be. We can also grab 2 more dwarves here. We can grab a Tiny and a Greedy to activate our Princess White. And I think that that's worth the 5 gold or whatever that it costs us to do. So I'm going to cycle through the Tiny, pick up the Greedy, and we get Sky Castle. So now I'm thinking I might just want to toss this questing, this Noble Steed, or this Ambrosia. It's kind of tough, but I'm at least using the Ambrosia for now on the Prince Arthur. And now let's just try to pick up as many more princesses and princes that we can find. We have all of these upgraded princesses and princes on the bench, so let's throw them in here. We'll find some space for them, and then I'll grab the Gingerbread Knight and then have to decide if I want to play these doublies still or not, just potentially roll for some more princesses and princes. Could have gone for the Candy Rain there as well, potentially. Would have just pumped the knight, but not too much else. Then we see a Juliet, and that is definitely worth selling for on this last turn. Trying to just get the Coin of Sharon onto Juliet as soon as possible. And interestingly, you could put Juliet in the Ambrosia slot, so that way it gets an additional +2/+2 from an unupgraded Prince Arthur, but I don't think that's the way to go. I think it's just better to upgrade the Prince Arthur, have it give an additional +2/+2 to everything else, and then have Juliet try to make use of the Coin of Sharon. So I think we actually have a pretty reasonable board at this point. Our opponent's looking pretty good with this Ancient Sarcophagus, and they are going to be able to kill us and hit us for 11 down to 3, but I still think we're doing pretty okay with this one. And now we get to pick up a Gingerbread Knight, so that is another Tier 4 treasure. I'm going to grab the Romeo first, and the reason for that, I don't remember. I don't remember why I thought it was important to grab the Romeo first. Not sure, but I do it anyways. And that is going to give us a 29/29, which is a pretty beefy unit. And now I'm just looking for Romeo, Juliet, Arthur, those main guys, and trying to make something happen here. And kind of a silly board with the Princess White, and then also had the Cindy on it. But Romeo is going to be a pretty huge power spike, and hopefully allows us to get back into this game, because we are sitting on 3 health, and that is not super great for us. So we'll see what we can do. Juliet is going to get the Coin of Sharon buff. Nice. And then that'll mean that we've got a pretty nice board here. I emoted at my opponent because they are also playing Sky Castle and stealing our royals, but not for long. We are going to be able to take them out. I forgot the other player that had the Sky Castle was Zelhua. So they are actually the one that I want to take a look at. And I just do a quick look-see here, and then I see that, okay, yeah, it was the Zelhua that is really going to be the problem for us, potentially grabbing all of the other royals. So hopefully that's not too big of a deal. I will grab a Juliet plus a Good Boy, and I think that there's a lot that we can do with this. We can cut the Princess White now. We can move the Juliets over, and again, not sure why. There must be a Tier 4 treasure. What Tier 4 treasure am I not thinking of? I'm not sure why I keep buying units before I keep making these Tier 4 treasures, but I think that it's really important to keep Coin of Sharon here, because now we're scaling Coin of Sharon with Good Boy. Oh, I'm so dumb. It's my hero power. Well, I'm glad NoLucksGiven in the past knew what was going on, but there is a hot tip for you. If you're playing Sir Galahad and there's 2 units in the shop that you're going to purchase, one of which completes a treasure, buy the one first that doesn't complete the treasure, because we just got a free +1/+1 on the good boy from tripling the Juliet from our hero power. So there you go. That was the idea. Playing around with something interesting here. If we can put the Hercules in the Ambrosia slot, it goes up to 42, and then the good boy will make it go up to 49, which means that next turn, with 1 additional Arthur trigger, it will only need 1 hit this turn and then 1 hit next turn to actually get us a tier 5 treasure. So, or tier 6 treasure. Sorry, a lot of concepts going on there. Hercules is going to get in there for 49, so only 50 to go, and that's a pretty cheeky use of the Ambrosia slot. And then we're still scaling with the good boy. Going to move it out of the slot for the time being, just see what else we can find. We do get to pick up a Romeo, which is nice. That's a little bit more stats on everything else. And so now if we do the math, good boy is 12. That would mean that, yeah, the Hercules gets to get up to 35. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on here when you get to make this Sky Castle work. And there's almost like some small incentive to just be picking up some lower tier units, so that we can combine some things and give everything +1/+1 from our hero power. There's an interesting opportunity to do so this turn with the crafties that are in the shop, because we probably want to spend our gold, so we could either buy and sell crafty and then buy crafty, or we could just sell our Brave Princess and pick up 2 crafties. That way, if we find another one, it's like a cheap-ish Blessing of Athena. It might wind up coming to about the same cost, but we weren't going to spend the rest of our gold this turn anyway. So hopefully we are able to put something nice together. We are on the verge of defeat, but we are scaling. We're giving all of our units +2/+2 every turn, and then we're giving our good boy +4/+4, so that is a nice little pump up to the rest of the crew. But this opponent is looking tough, so things could go south pretty quickly. My opponent with the Mimic Chest plus Noble Steed, they're not really doing too much though. That's unfortunate, as Burning Tree doesn't get to take down Juliet, but we will still walk away from this combat with a win and a tier 6 treasure. So probably going to replace the Sky Castle at this point in favor of one of these treasures, and it's probably just Spear of Achilles, just to try to get as many stats from these treasures as we possibly can. It's a little bit awkward to rip the Sky Castle when we're playing Galahad and we don't have the Arthur completed yet, but I feel like I need the Ambrosia just for now, just because of the fact that it's going to give us just slightly more stats for this turn. And sometimes that's all you can do. You can just say, okay, we need more stats for this turn, let's do it. And we've got a lot more stats for this turn, speaking of. The good boy is going to get in. It's going to attack for 22 because of the spear. Then when it dies, hopefully it's the first thing that dies, it's going to get +4/+4, which makes it a 26/26, which gets to give it everything else +52/52. So that makes for a pretty good board, and hopefully we have outscaled this Zelhua at this point. Remember, this Zelhua was also rocking a Sky Castle for a little bit, and with an upgraded good boy, feel somewhat confident that we are going to be stronger than them. And I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler that we are, because we have not yet completed Lancelot. So we know that this battle is still going to go on, and we can see that we are reasonably stronger than this opponent. We just have a bigger good boy, which is going to amount to a bigger win here. They also have Juliet, Romeo. They're not completed on their Hercules yet. Oh, wow. They do get to steal our upgraded good boy, though. Wow, that is huge. That could spell trouble, except we killed them. So that was scary. But now we actually kind of are looking for Lancelot, and it's not just a joke. It's not just to complete every treasure, but it's because of the fact that that will give us a tier 5 treasure, and we can activate that easily with our good boy. We'll combine the golden chicken. That will give our whole team +1/+1. And I think I'm going to go Hermes Boots instead of this Ambrosia. I am pretty sure that I want to put Lancelot on this board at this point, and Lancelot just isn't going to do anything. We're going to take out this Prince Arthur here on this last turn. Or I meant to say Ambrosia's not going to do anything. I'll go for the spinning gold because we have to bet on ourselves if we are going to make it out of here. We do find another Prince Arthur, which is a little bit awkward, but I think we're off of Arthur at this point. We are really just looking for Lancelot. That'll help us to grab a tier 5 treasure. And if we could grab something like Mimic Chest, that could be really good for us and could push us in a pretty strong direction. So what I am going to do is roll one more time and then sell my golden chicken. I think I'm debating the Green Knight. Oh, wow. Okay, that is kind of interesting. And then I'm just going to start selling through this golden chicken and these crafties. We've got like one more roll to find Lancelot, and we do. We can sell off our remaining units, purchase Lancelot, and now when Good Boy dies, that'll give Lancelot plus 20 plus, or plus 40, or potentially even more, and that will give us the ability to grab a tier 5 treasure here. So really sweet stuff. We are up against a really big opponent this turn. The Fates with all of these trees and some ranged units and some rotten applewoods and medusas and monster books and a lot of really nasty stuff. We are going to grab our tier 5 treasure here, or rather, we're going to complete our Lancelot. And I think that's the important thing to remember, because we do lose and we do die, but the Lancelot was complete. So I'm going to count that. It is unfortunately a worse finish than the last video. Pretty likely to lose that combat, about 50-50 to lose it, but we completed every quest again. Lancelot doesn't say that the quest is completed, but we all saw it. We were all there. So that is going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit sillier content today, though I do still try to win. I did still try to win. Kind of forgot that Sir Galahad, you probably just want to stick to Royals now for Sir Galahad as the main use of like trying to grab that Sky Castle and things like that, or just kind of ignore the hero power altogether. But that is going to be it for me for today's video. So thank you guys very much for watching. That's going to be it for me. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.